Hello, friends. I'm Terry David Mulligan, and this is for Mulligan Stew on CKUA Radio, the Mulligan Stew podcast, and because it's a visual, the Terry David Mulligan YouTube channel. One of the biggest fans of that Terry David Mulligan YouTube channel is Marc Jordan. No, he's never been there, but now we will. Now he'll go. Where have I found you, sir?
Well, we just moved. We're in the process of moving houses, and so I'm in Toronto, and there's chaos surrounding me, and But I've set my studio up, so I'm ready to work.
That's scary in itself. The house move is tough enough, but resetting up a studio, you need help.
I need help to make a phone call these days, but that's another story.
Okay, my question back to you. You guys okay? How are the kids?
Everybody's good. Ezra lives in Nashville now. He's up here to do some work, but and Zoe is in LA, and so they're doing great.
Do they want to stay in the family business, or they want nothing to do with it?
No, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, maybe his agents.
My daughter married Liam Titcomb.
Oh no, yeah. I know his dad well.
I know, me too.
I haven't seen him in a long time. Never, ever since he left the West Coast. That's the last I saw of him. My goodness, Mr. Titcomb. All right, let's talk. We have things to talk about if it's okay with you, and that's good. This is good stuff that we started with, but we'll get to the rest of that story in a minute. I'm dying to ask you about a song that you covered, but first, I did see what's this? What is this song with you and Victor Feldman? That's on my screen. What's going on?
That just appeared. It's really odd. I think his son found it, but when I first went to LA, do you want the story?
Sure.
When I first went to LA, I was right in the studio right away with Gary Katz, and he hired this band. It was Jeff Beccaro and Lukather and all those guys, and
Toto.
Basically,
yep.
Basically, they became Toto. Yeah, Dave Page, and the second keyboard player was Victor Feldman. And so, we all got friendly, and Victor invited me for dinner about a week after we started recording, and he said, "Do you want to finish this song?" I said, "I have a song I'm working on." So I did. I finished the lyric, and I just sang it into just a little demo I did at home, and they said, "Well, come and we'll record it properly." So he did it at his home studio, and that was the last I heard of it until
how long ago was that?
That was 1977.
Okay.
Huh. Think about that.
Well, now it's out.
I never heard about it again, and then I got something from his son a few months ago saying he found some stuff of his dad's, and my voice was on it. So
that's incredible. Well, I can't. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. I love it. I want to thank you for, first of all, joining me on the Juno Couch in Edmonton, which seems like a long time ago, but fantastic. Thank you. And I said at the time, I owe you one. This is. I would have done this anyway, but I did owe you one. Waiting for the Sun to Rise. I embraced it as soon as it came out. Mm-hmm. Perhaps it was the alluring look of you in the photographs, but look at that. How many times can the guy get his picture taken? Come on, that's incredible. Yeah, I know, that's beautiful. This is good. I like this one. This looks like earnest. This looks, yeah, sexually charged.
Ernest Borgnine.
That's right. I started with Coltrane Plays the Blues, even though I wanted to play Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yeah.
Coltrane Plays the Blues was the one that did it for me. First of all, because it says Coltrane and Plays the Blues, written by you and John Capek. And I I love it. I play it on a hot, heavy hit rotation.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love that song. And Lou did a great arrangement of it. And he's a great producer, that guy.
Yeah, but how about the writing? The writing's pretty good. The singing's pretty good as well.
Well, thank you. That's what I do, baby.
The other track that I jumped on, of course, was "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," because I remember as it came out as a video at Much Music, and it just owned the world. Frankly, owned it.
Yeah,
and has been covered by a number of folks.
But you know why I did that song?
I
love it, but I love that song. But it reminded me of "So What." So we kind of hinted at that. I don't know if people picked up on it, but
very cool.
It's kind of
baseline. Okay, so
yeah.
Now, I love that. Is it getting played? Are you getting feedback on that?
I'm getting lots of feedback in the States and in Europe. Yeah.
Speaking of the States, how much you were born in Brooklyn? How much of Brooklyn is still in your veins?
You know, sort of New York. I spent a lot of time there when I was younger, and before I moved to LA, and afterwards too. But yeah, I mean, it was a different New York than it is today. You know, it was a New York that was not that expensive to live in, and you know, Soho. There were little cheap, little independent art galleries and things like that.
Yeah,
in what is now, you know, untouchable real estate, but it was so great. I did spend a lot of time there, and I was going to move there, and then I got my deal in LA, and that's, you know, I followed that.
And was it love that brought you to Toronto?
Well, you know, I met Amy. She lives in Toronto, but yes. She grew up in Toronto, but yes. I met her in LA.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we had lots to talk about.
All right.
I can't get into it.
You want to?
I cannot get into what we were talking about.
I want to ask you about, first of all, I was going back over some of the tunes that I fell in love with from you. Both sides of that album. It stuck with me long and hard, and especially Both Sides Now. And so you watch what happens to songs. Joni, if you have seen the footage from the folk festival, where her friends who had jammed with her and got her back on her feet and got her singing again and finding her voice and remembering the words, and she sings it on stage. She literally, they bring her. She's on stage, but they bring her along with their voices, and all of a sudden, yes. She takes over the song. But the words to the song, Both Sides Now, all of a sudden, the meaning that it takes on so many years later is phenomenal.
Harry, that's exactly why I think it's one of the greatest songs of the 20th century. I saw her for $1. I saw her when she was maybe 19 or 20 sing that song in Yorkville in Toronto. She was just a little kid, you know. And the song was great then. It was great. I always remembered it. But when I saw her, have you seen the rendition she did with the London Symphony?
No.
Okay. Check that out. It is the most brilliant arrangement, and she's in her 70s. And then it's now a different song. You know what I'm saying? Because she's lived her life. Her voice speaks of, you know, a very rich and powerful life, and the song takes that on. And the way the song morphs, no matter how you sing it is rich with meaning, and
it answers its own questions, is what it does. I'll tell you my Joni story. I'm in Regina. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get back home to Vancouver via yelling into a microphone on rock radio.
Mhm.
And the deal I made was the Fourth Dimension Coffee House. They had a band house. I lived in one half of it with a shared kitchen, and whoever was at the Fourth Dimension had the other half of the house.
Yeah.
And Chuck and Joni Mitchell were there for 2 weekends. So 10 days we spent in that kitchen, talking, reading, making teas. I never saw Chuck. They never saw, he was gone. It was me and Joni. And I didn't see Joni till many years later when this concert happened in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Vancouver, not long after that, when she was going out with James Taylor, and
Yeah.
it was the first concert that raised funds, and the first time anybody ever said the word Greenpeace. That was the concert, and I was the MC.
Really?
Yeah, and also I was also the roadie because I'm adjusting all the microphones while she's doing her sound check. It's crazy. It's crazy. So now let me get back to Waiting for the Sunrise. When you start, do you start with one tune that leads the way, flies the flag, or do you come in with a bag full of possibilities? What's the format?
Well, I usually come in with one or two.
Yeah, okay.
I'm constantly writing. So after you write for a year, you see a kind of direction, or at least I do, is sort of where you're at in your life. And so as soon as I feel the direction, I kind of push things in that way. And when I do covers, I do them in the specifically on the same highway that I'm
Okay.
driving down when I'm writing.
Are you tough on yourself?
Well, I think so. I mean, I'm constantly doing it, so I don't dwell on if a song isn't working. I don't really dwell on it, although sometimes I'll go back and take little bits. But if it's not working, I don't go, I don't get down. I just move on because I love doing it.
Yeah, man. We're losing, as you well know, you and I are losing at this late stage. We're losing some of our heroes. Well, a lot of our heroes, frankly. The loss of Gordon Lightfoot, did it have an effect on you?
Absolutely. We sort of became friends, in the latter years, and he was an amazing guy. He was an amazing writer.
That's what I was going to ask. As a songwriter, he
amazing.
Yeah.
People don't really.
Yeah.
I wonder if people get it. I mean, but as a writer, I can see what he's done. And
your favorite song of his?
Oh Christ, I have so many. I love You Could Read My Mind. I love Edmund Fitzgerald. I love I'm not great with titles, but so many perfectly crafted songs, and so many in just beyond that, And Sundown was a great one.
Oh, Sundown.
Yeah.
Okay. And we also lost Tony Bennett.
Oh. And wasn't he something?
Wasn't he something else? And what a great
did
run.
you see the documentary on him?
Yep.
Yeah. It was just astonishing what he pulled. He had Alzheimer's, but when he was on stage.
Did you get to meet him?
I did meet him once, yeah, at a Jazz FM show.
Let me get back here for a second. He sang, she sang. Was it an experiment that got better as you went along, or did you see the end in sight?
I could never see the end in sight. How that came about was we have a house just below Alabama in Florida, and one or both of our kids during that period, a few years ago, were living in Nashville.
Yeah.
So we drive from here to Nashville, and then we drive down through Alabama to Florida, and we'd sing. Amy and I would just sing, and we'd turn on the radio, or we'd bring, CDs, or we'd, do it off our laptops, and we just sing songs. And then some of them started to sound pretty good with both of us. So that's when we decided to do the record. And then we on our way back to Toronto, we go through Nashville again, and we went into the studio and recorded a couple of them. They sounded good, so we thought, what the hell?
And which of those car songs made the album?
Well, they all came from the car.
Did they?
Wow. They all came from the car, but there were many that didn't make it. But the ones that made it were all sung a million times in the car on the way down south.
Off the top of your head, do you have? Is there a track that I could play that was a rare first take?
No.
I think I do that.
No.
Because you always think there'll be a better take.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've ever done a song that's been one take. I don't know. Maybe live, but obviously live. But
by the way, I love your cover of People Get Ready, Curtis Mayfield's song from both sides. I mean, an incredible songwriter.
Unbelievable.
In the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And it was about something.
Always. Big issues too. How's the gig at the Canadian Film Center?
Well, that was interesting. That it was wonderful because I got to hang with Norman a lot, and that was really he's old. He's pretty frail now, but he's a brilliant man, and he had this film school, and then he wanted to integrate the music part of filmmaking, and that's very interesting. Was very interesting to me, and I'll tell you why. When I was with Warner in Hollywood, there were about 15 of us writers signed to Warner Chappell, and every month or every 6 weeks, we would go and we would have a meeting with a director, and he would play us his film in progress, and he would always go, "I'm looking for music, looking for music," and he was very interesting. There were two types of directors that listened to the music, and directors that read the words only. And they were and Norman was one of the rare guys, and the rare guys were the ones that actually listened to the music.
Actually listened to the music. You're absolutely right. Totally right. Completely.
Yeah. And I never got a song in any movie in that process, because they would just look at, the hell is this about? And they would read it, but what they didn't understand was that melody is language as well.
It is. His name's Marc Jordan. I hold in my hand, he said, holding this up, this wonderful actual musical library. Marc Jordan, Waiting for the Sun to Rise. You can go and buy one of these too if you want, and they still make machines that play them.
Yeah.
My turntable is right here. I would love to hear it on vinyl.
Oh.
Recommended for airplay. Tell Me Where It Hurts. Coltrane Sings the Blues and Waiting for the Sun to Rise. Yeah. Rio Grande. Holy crap. You and Randy Brecker and incredible arrangements. Wonderful mixing. The mix, the final mix was beautiful. It's a sensational track.
Thank you. I wrote that with Steve McKinnon, who I've done a lot of writing with, And yeah, you know, what I lament a little bit in music is that the artists have stopped commenting for the main part on social issues, you know.
Mm.
And it's not lost on me that there were 4 kids shot at Kent State years ago. You remember it. The next week, there was a #1 record. #1, Neil Young, 4 dead in Ohio. In the States, kids are getting blown out of their classrooms by the hundreds every year. I don't hear anything. So I wanted to write something that said something about that, said something about America and the guns and what's happening.
Did it weigh on you, the process, getting it right?
Didn't weigh on me. I wanted to do it. I wanted to get it right.
Wanted to get it right.
Yeah, wanted to get it right, and I didn't want to slam it either, because that would be stupid.
Now there's a piece of music that deserves a visual.
Yeah,
that deserves to be in a film. No two ways about it.
Yeah,
Rio Grande. And the other track I want to ask you about, well, no, never mind. It's just Cradle to the Grave.
Yeah.
Because it's the last track on the album. And last tracks, I think, are saying something for the people who made the other 10 or 11 or 12 tracks. Why the last track on the album, and what were you saying?
Well, one of them has to be the last track. And it's just a song about life. It's a song about the difference in the beginning of life and at the end. It's the arc, and how we luge into obscurity and oblivion at the end. But it's the arc that I was trying to.
How is it possible, sir, that you and I are still upright and breathing? How is that possible?
Because we love what we do, I think, partly, you know. And it's better than the alternative, Jerry.
Yes, or laying rebar.
Yeah.
Now, lunch at Allen's. What's going on with the gang of thugs?
Well, I think we're hanging it up pretty soon.
Are you?
Yeah, yeah, because the travel's getting hard, and
yeah,
and you know, Cindy's out east, and it's harder for her to make these big commitments.
Could you maybe do a residency somewhere? Take over a room?
Never thought about that.
Leave your equipment on stage, leave it there, just walk in, sit down. A residency. I'm watching Tedeschi Trucks going into New York, and they play one theater, and they play it for 1, 2, 3 weeks.
Do they?
Yeah. Bring their families. They vacation in New York, literally during those 3 weeks.
Oh, what a great idea. You know, I never really thought about that.
Find a room that
find a room,
you know.
Well, Hugh's room is restarting.
Okay.
In a different.
I just hate to see the last of you, especially if you're still friends.
Oh, definitely we are, and it's still lots of fun, but it's just the amount of travel is just killing us, and you know.
Okay. All right. What track did I miss off of Waiting for the Sun to Rise that I should have asked about? Which one?
Jesus.
Which one?
Yeah, you're asking me about the titles of my own songs. I can never bloody remember them myself.
Let me recite you. The Last Buffalo, okay. Best Day of My Life.
Well, I love that little Last Buffalo interlude. Okay. That was a beautiful thing. But anyway, keep going.
Sure. Coltrane, Waiting for the Sun to Rise, title track. Frontier. Tell Me Where It Hurts.
Best day.
Huh?
Best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
Yeah.
Because
Well, because it's sort of real. Like years ago, I used to see this girl in Larchmont Village, and I just imagined her. I transported it to New York, and then I imagined what her life would have been like.
nice.
We just our eyes met. That was it. Never again. But I never forgot it, actually. We sort of connected like that for 2 seconds, and that was it. Long before I was married. Before I wore glasses, even.
All right. So let me just a follow up to lunch at Ellis. If you guys are going your separate ways, how long do you want to continue on this road that you're on?
I would be happy to die on stage.
Wow.
That'd be a good show. And there won't be an encore. That's the other thing. But you know.
What would the closing song be?
Oh. Best day of my life, maybe. No, it would, you know what? I wrote a wonderful song for my wife. That was sort of hidden. Anyway, it's a song called Spain, but it's
The song is called Spain.
yeah.
Okay.
But
And if you could pick a stage in which to expire, would it be Massey Hall maybe, or
definitely.
yeah, Defo.
Definitely. Although I love that club in Toronto, the Jazz Bistro. I just sat in with Randy Brecker there a couple of weeks ago, and it was
He's funny.
he's great.
Oh, he's fantastic. I'm a horn player. I was a horn player.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I'm drawn to horn players.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it was Chet Baker. When he started to sing, I went, well, he's a great horn player, but he's a pretty good singer. He's not really a singer, but he's going to be a singer. And
He sang like he played. He sang like it was a horn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to ask you about a couple of things. Do you have a project in mind with the symphony orchestra, for example, with that you could take across the country at your leisure and not beat yourself up?
I would love to do that, and I've talked to Tom Barry, my manager, about that. Actually,
it would be very grown up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, terribly grown up. I'd love to do it. Love to do it. And Lou is, you know, because I work all the time with Lou Pomonti now, it would be a piece of cake for him.
Who's the best songwriter in this country these days?
Oh man, it's probably a young guy. I'll tell you. I hate to say be like an old dad, but my son Ezra, unbelievable, floors me.
Wow.
But he's moved basically to Nashville, but he's brilliant. And my daughter, the first line of her new record is, "My mom got famous writing a song about me." And that was "I Will Take Care of You."
Okay, let me ask you that. There's a question. What was your best first line?
My what?
Your best first line.
Oh, you said breast first line. Best first line. That's a hard one, Terry. I don't know. I don't know if I could. I honestly, I don't know how to answer that. I'd have to think about it.
And I don't have words in front of me, so I can't help you. I'm out of luck on that one.
Yeah. I don't know when the.
Will we see you out west? Have you any tour plans? Anything, please? I beg you.
I'll get out there, sure, but I don't know. I don't know when. I don't know when. Yeah, possibly we're at war. I've never heard a plane like that go over my house. Did you hear that?
What's that?
The airplane going over the house?
No, I didn't hear the. No, I'm sorry.
I thought it was going to crash into that.
Did you move near the runway?
No, near the liquor store.
Oh, I just come on out this way if you can, if you can find a way to do it. But more than anything,
Yeah.
I love you I just love you so much. And this music,
Back at you.
this music carries me. It carries me. It carries me. I'm surrounded by music. I can't open doors without music falling into my lap. So you choose wisely when you take it with you in a car, for example.
Yeah.
I take you in my car.
Oh, wow.
And I say to Alexa, Marc Jordan, everything he's ever written.
Well, thank you, man. You know, it's I thank God I found music. That's all I can say because it's the only thing I can do.
Which one again?
Thank God I found music because it's the only thing I can do.
Oh man. I don't know. You could have been a great soccer player or a baseball player.
Yeah. Or policeman or something. But no, it's the thing I love and I love doing it.
When you go back to Brooklyn, do you play Brooklyn?
I haven't been back in a while, and but I've
Cool.
never played in Brooklyn. Never.
Really?
No,
Really?
no. I played in New York, Manhattan, but not.
Okay. All right. Because that's where the gig is. What's up ahead? You got anything you want to surprise us with?
Well, I'm being inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, which is with John Capek, which is very exciting, and I'm very grateful.
Had it kind of needled at you that you hadn't been inducted, or did you kind of know that they would eventually get around?
Well, I wasn't sure. I don't know. I didn't think about it a lot, but it just happened this month, and so I'm very happy about
It's
that.
nice to be recognized, isn't it?
Nice. It is nice.
And then
Your own country too.
Huh?
In your own country as well.
Yeah. And then you get the Order of Canada, and Bob's your uncle.
That's right. And they put me in the box, rattling all my jewelry, all my prizes.
All right. I'll see you soon. I'll see
You're
you
a
soon.
treasure.
Thank you, man. Thank you,
Love
Marc Jordan. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.